Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be starting the 6-day star blanket by Betty McKnit. If you've never heard of it, it was going viral on TikTok. For the longest time, I saw so many people making their 6-day star blanket. I only ever make like 1 or 2 blankets a year, but this pattern is supposed to be like easy to keep up with. Like you can make it in 6 days. And from what I've seen from TikTok or people who have made this blanket is that the pattern is a little difficult to understand. There is a little bit of drama surrounding this blanket pattern. If you don't know, if you haven't heard of it, I don't know if I'll talk about it in this video. We'll see, I guess. But anyways, I got my yarn for the blanket. It came in a couple of days ago, which is honestly kind of bittersweet, I think. It came in the mail from Joanne. I'll cover the tag. It came in the mail from Joanne, and if you guys don't know, Joann's Fabric is closing all of their stores, all of their locations, and I really ordered this yarn at the perfect time because they are no longer fulfilling online orders, shipping anyway. I tried to order more yarn for a separate project and couldn't do it, so they're not shipping yarn out anymore, which is sad. I don't know if they will ship yarn later down the road or if they're not doing shipments anymore because of the closing. I'm not entirely sure. But with that being said, I was lucky enough to get my package. And so going through the package, this is what I got for my 6-day star blanket. It is the Karen Colorama Halo Perfect Phasing yarn. This is what it looks like. This is in the colorway Rosemary Frost. Very pretty yarn. It's really, really fuzzy. I've never tried this yarn before, but it's pretty. It's very, very beautiful. Green is kind of like the main color in my house, so I'm hoping this will look good in my living room on my couch or something. These cakes are kind of falling apart a little bit, but yeah, I'm hoping to finish this blanket in 6 days. Like I said, it's called the 6-day star blanket because it's supposed to be so easy and like builds up quickly and something that you can just like come back to or whatever. So I'm hoping that'll be the case for me because like I said, I have seen some things on TikTok and even YouTube surrounding this blanket pattern. So I don't know. The only reason I only ever finish 1 or 2 blankets a year is because I have ADD and I cannot keep up with one project for very long, especially blankets, because blankets take forever. I mean, they just work up so slowly. This is actually a size 5 bulky yarn, so I'm hoping, honestly, I mean, it kind of looks more like a worsted in my opinion. I don't know. Like, it's a very, very thin bulky, if it's a bulky, but it recommends a size 6 crochet hook, so we're gonna do that. But Betty McKnit has a YouTube video or like 2 YouTube videos or something. If you do want to make this blanket without the pattern, she shows you how to make it. I bought the pattern, it was like $6, but you don't have to if you don't want to. But I'll link that video or videos down in the description box. But I am going to move to a comfier, cozier place, and let's start this blanket, I guess. Okay. Sorry if you can hear my chickens. I love sitting on my back porch, okay? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't help the nature noises. Okay, I've got my yarn. I decided to get the one that's already falling out somewhere. Where's the tail? Wait. Is this not the middle? Oh no, it's not the middle. Okay, wait. No way. Wait, what? Here's the middle, look. Of the dark green, right? I'm starting with the dark green. Look, the tail is like the white. Okay, well, I'm just going to start higher up. Okay, I found the center. Okay, so I've got my yarn out here, my odd dye lot yarn. I also have my pattern binder. If you guys remember my craft room supply declutter video that I did, I went through and I have all of my patterns here and I organized them. So I even have a tab for blankets in the very back. Okay, so I have my 6-day star blanket by Betty McKnit. I don't want to show too much of it because I have seen where she's kind of threatening people with a copyright lawsuit. So basically I just don't want to show much of the pattern and like get myself in trouble. Let's see. There are only 3 stitches I need to know, and I know them all. So it has tips for starting or for completing your 6-day blanket and, you know, things like that to help you jump into it if you're a beginner. Oh my gosh, I thought I saw a shadow like where my sleeve was folded. I thought there was a tick on me. I just had to blow dry off my back porch because I haven't sat out here in a couple of weeks because it's been so cold. Okay, I have the 6-day star blanket set up. Like I said, I don't want to show too much of it because I'm not trying to get in trouble. Okay, I've got my hook. I also got myself a cup of coffee. Everyone always laughs at how big this cup of coffee is. This cup. I don't know how many ounces it is, but my grandma got it for me for my birthday one year. Sunflowers are my favorite flower. It is pretty big, I'll admit, but I don't know how many ounces it is. And then I also got a snack, some Girl Scout cookies. These are new this year, I think, Adventurefuls. They're honestly not my favorite, but I'm gonna eat them. They're pretty good. They're just not my favorite. My favorite are the Samoas, that the dark chocolate caramel coconut ones. And I got 2 boxes of those also. I just want to eat some of these before, I finish off my Samoas. But anyways, I have to make my slip knot all the way up here because this bit is like so light. But okay, some water and then my earbuds, just in case I want to listen or watch anything. But okay, so there's like setup rounds to this star blanket because we're obviously going to start in the middle of the blanket and like work our way out. It says that 2 hooks are recommended in case I get curling or whatever. I am starting off with my 6mm Clover Amore crochet hook. I love these hooks. They're my favorite. I also, now that I think about it, have not crocheted anything in truly the longest time. I don't know why that is, honestly. I think this is the longest I've ever gone not crocheting something, but basically I just have really been falling in love with knitting, and it's crazy to say that because I remember starting out knitting and I definitely hated it. I was like, you can make anything with crochet, so like, why do you need to knit like this? I was getting so frustrated learning how to knit, but now that I've gotten the hang of like the basics of knitting, I really, really enjoy knitting. Crochet is very, very versatile, don't get me wrong, but there's just something about a knitted wearable that I love so much more than crochet. It just like looks so nice, and not saying that crochet wearables don't look nice. I am a firm believer that crochet wearables look very, very nice. It's just, for some reason, knit has had my full attention recently, and I don't know what that's about. Hopefully I don't get too much curling doing the center bit because I have a 6.5 crochet hook, but it's a boy, B-O-Y-E crochet hook. And it doesn't have the ergonomic grip, and I really, really hate that. So hopefully I don't get too much curling and I can just use this 6mm throughout and it not be an issue. But so far, I'm understanding this pattern. I am on round 3 of the setup, so it's going pretty good, I think. Okay, yeah, this is making more sense. This is making more sense now. Yeah, I definitely just skipped a whole round in the pattern. So that's why I couldn't comprehend it. That'll do it. That'll do it. It wasn't the pattern, it was my reading abilities. I then just continued to work on this blanket sitting on the back porch. It was such a nice day out, and when it's super nice, I love to sit outside. I really want to get like a day bed or a porch swing or something for me to lay down on, because I tried laying down on this couch that we have currently and it's not the most comfortable, but I managed. I pushed through. I also love watching Adam McIntyre on YouTube. Let me know, are there any fellow muckers down in the chat? But yeah, just had my coffee, my water. Gotta keep water close by always. I even tried the Girl Scout cookies, and honestly, not the biggest fan. They're all right. and I paid for them, so I will be eating them, but you know, Samoas will always have my heart. What can I say? Okay, I just finished the setup rounds. Let me show you what it's looking like. It's kind of curling a little bit, but it says as long as it's not like warped or whatever, the curling is fine and I don't need to swap crochet hooks. Because if I get it kind of like a little stretch, right, it sits flat. This is how it's looking so far. This is just a setup. I have yet to do like the repeating stuff. Basically, there are a couple of rounds that you repeat throughout to make the blanket big or bigger. And it's different than the setup rounds. Like this is just setting up so that I can go like and do the repeating or whatever. So it said to do the setup rounds and then one of the repeat, and then that's day one. So that's what I'm gonna do. This was not hard, honestly. It wasn't hard to comprehend, at least for me. Also, I got a little cold and my wrist was starting to hurt. I haven't crocheted in a while. Like, honestly, I don't even remember what my last crochet project was, if I'm being so honest with you. So the double crocheting and like the wrist movement was kind of hurting a little bit, so I had to get my gloves. But yeah, I'm just going to work on the first repeating rounds. And then, yeah, I guess we'll call that a day. This is what my cake is looking like so far. Definitely making some progress. So I love watching my yarn disappear in cake form because like I can really tell, you know, like I'm doing so much work. I'm excited to see how the blanket is going to look because, you know, it starts dark in the center and then it's going to go to like a white or like a very, very pale green. And then when I do my other cake, I'll do like the dark. So it'll be like kind of stripey in a way. But yeah, I think we're just going to do one repeat. And then we'll call it a day for today. It's getting kind of cold, so hopefully I can finish this round repeat before it gets too cold. So fingers crossed. Okay, it is sometime later. It's getting dark out and it's getting cold. But here is the progress on our blanket so far. Let me stretch it out so it doesn't curl. I am not done with the first round of repeating. This is what it's looking like so far. I still have 3 more rounds before we can call it a day, but I'm going to move inside because it's cold. It's cold and it's getting dark out, so I'm going to pack up and move inside. Okay, it is sometime later. I honestly just started getting a headache, so I took a little bit of a break, but I finished the setup round and the first rounds of the repeating pattern or whatever. So here's how it's looking. This is where the pattern suggests day 1. So this is day 1 progress. A little tangled. Honestly, so far this pattern is like not super hard for me to understand personally. I know some people had issues with that. Sorry, there's a glare from the light on the camera. I know some people had like trouble understanding the pattern, and honestly, I don't think it's difficult to understand. I can see where some people would get kind of confused with this pattern, but I have like the crochet knowledge to kind of like go through it and figure it out as I'm working on it, so it's not too bad. I'll show you the cake. So this is what my little yarn cake is looking like after the day 1 progress. But I'm going to make some dinner and then probably lay down because, like I said, I've got a headache and I'm really tired. So that's where we're going to leave it for day 1. Okay, so for day 2, I worked on this blanket. So for this pattern, you do the setup rounds, and then for the rest of the blanket, it's just a 6-round repeat. So each day I tried to do the repeating rows twice, so for a total of like 12 rounds, I think it is, which, you know, the blanket gets bigger, so every round you create more stitches, so it just kind of worked out that way where I did 2 repeats of the 6 rounds, so 12 rounds a day. But yeah, it's just, it really wasn't much for me to talk on because I did so much talking on the first day. So like I said, second day, just repeating the rounds, and that's all there it really was to it. It's not like much more, that I could add from day 1 to day 2. So okay, it is I think 2 days later since I started this blanket, and I have been doing 2 like repeat rounds, which is, so I've done 12 rounds per day basically. Math is not my strong suit. But anyways, here is what the blanket is looking like so far. I really enjoy working with this yarn. It's so pretty. I really am enjoying this green ombre effect that's happening here. I'll show you a little farther away. Right now, it's what's considered the baby blanket size. What are you doing, bud? But right now, this is what is considered the baby blanket size, I believe. And definitely too small for me. But I have 4 cakes total. So this is after 1 cake. You can see my tail here. This is all I had left of the first cake. So I have 3 more to go, basically, if I want to make the blanket super big. I think I might do maybe 2 more would be a good size. I don't know. But I really am enjoying the ombre. I think it's beautiful. I am going to start the next cake now, and I think I'm going to go dark. I was debating on going from like dark to light to dark, but I think I'll do dark to light, if that makes sense. You'll see what I mean when I start working on it some more, but so far the pattern is pretty easy to understand. It's just a lot of repeating rounds and a lot of counting also. This isn't the kind of project that I can just like mindlessly work on while I'm watching TV. I have to be like fully involved when doing this because there's just so much counting going on. But it is like, working up pretty fast with the size 5 yarn, and it's pretty, love the colors and everything like that. So I don't know how you're meant to fold this thing up with it being 7 points though. I don't know. Maybe like that. It looks like a little bouquet. But yeah, I am just going to work on this some more today. Like I said, it says in the notes to work on it for about 4 hours a day, like 2 to 4 hours a day. But I've been trying to do the like 2 rounds of repeating. So I've been making some decent progress, I guess. But yeah, let's go ahead and work on it some more, I guess. So for day 3, I'm just working on the blanket, and here I am starting the new cake, where you can see that because I started in the center, it's really dark, and it's kind of like this stark line with the new cake, which I really enjoy. I think it's beautiful. You guys will see it in the finished product, how it ends up looking. But basically, with this pattern, it's just repeating 6 rounds until you get your desired length or desired size of the blanket. So it's not really, much for, talking about or showing you the process, because it is just the same process over and over again. It's just, the more you repeat the rounds, the more stitches you create, and therefore the bigger your blanket gets. But, for day 4, I was actually at my in-laws' house for most of the day, and we did dinner and things, so I didn't record any of the process for day 4 just because it is just repeating rounds and it's just me crocheting. So, but I am enjoying the blanket. It looks beautiful, and we will get into my thoughts on the blanket for day 5. So like I said, it's just repeating the rounds, and it's not any different any of the days, except you just continue working on it and your blanket gets bigger. So it wasn't much for me to talk about, I guess, as I've talked about it the last minute and a half for you guys. But okay, hello everyone. Sorry if it's a little echoey in here. I honestly just wanted to go ahead and film this outro, I guess you could say, for this video. I worked on the blanket. I've worked on the blanket for the past 5 days, I think, using a size 5 yarn and a size 6mm crochet hook. And I've used 2 cakes, about. This is all I have left of the second cake, so not enough for another row or round, whatever you want to call it. But here is what the blanket is looking like, if I can unravel it. So it's looking pretty good. I love the colors. I think it's beautiful. Definitely turned out really, really nice. I like that I did kind of like the ombre and then the darker border, because then that ombre's out, and then once I add the other cake, it'll be darker and then ombre out too. So I think that's really, really pretty. I was thinking of starting, instead of starting with the dark green, starting with the lighter green, so it kind of ombres out and then ombres back in, if that makes sense. But I really like how I did it this time, so yeah, I'm happy with it. But definitely not super big for a blanket. Kind of more just like a little throw blanket for sitting on the couch, I guess. But I definitely need to do the third cake, but I'm not going to be done with that in time for the end of this video. So this is what it looks like after 2 cakes. But anyways. Okay, so my thoughts on the pattern, right? This pattern is very controversial, I guess you could say, within the crocheting community, especially on TikTok, which is where I learned about the pattern, which I can kind of see why, if I'm being honest. It is difficult to do it correctly if you're not paying attention. And I mean that in the sense of it's a lot of counting, because basically you need to make sure you have enough stitches down each peak, is what they're called in the pattern, to like get your count correctly, because there's a lot of skipping and, you know, there's a lot of skipping stitches down here, as you can see with the holes, and then making up for it in the next row. So if you mess up in one row, it can really affect the next row, and then therefore throw your whole blanket off, which there was one row that I was 1 stitch short. So I did 2 stitches in one to like increase to make up for the count, basically, which Betty McKnit says not to do, but I did not feel like unraveling a whole round just to redo it. I guess that's just kind of the crocheter I am, really. If I can increase to get back up to count, that's what I'm gonna do. So, but I mean, you can't even tell. Like, honestly, I tried to point it out to my husband, and maybe it's the yarn choice that I picked with it being so fuzzy and things like that, or the colors, but he said you can't even tell. So we're gonna roll with that. You know, I'm happy with how my blanket is coming out. Like I said, I still have 1 more cake, so I will be going around and adding that. Not sure how long that's going to take me, but this is about 5 days worth of progress, working on it for about 2 or 3 hours, really. So I am happy with my progress, especially because I don't do blankets, and this was, I'm gonna be honest, difficult to work on and finish, even though I'm not technically finished with it yet. I just don't like repeating rounds, just because, like, if it was something that I could repeat and not have to count, I wouldn't mind it. But because I have to repeat the rounds and still count, it was just like a lot that I didn't want to work on. There were a couple of nights where I cut working on it a little short because I wanted to play video games. And like I said, this is not something that you can work on and do something else at the same time, like watch TV or a movie or play games or anything like that. At least I couldn't, because I had to keep count, and there were a lot of times I would be counting and someone would talk to me and I can't remember where I stopped counting at, so then I'd have to recount, and it was just a lot, a lot. But with that being said, I'm sure many people who have made this blanket enjoy the pattern. I'm sure if you don't mind counting, you'll enjoy the pattern. Personally, I don't mind the pattern. I might make another one of these blankets, I'm not entirely sure. But with that being said, I do enjoy the final product. I think the blanket is beautiful. I definitely am glad that I did it this way. I think it is turning beautifully. It is just still not finished, unfortunately. But you know what? We're making progress. We've made some progress, so... Well, with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I believe this video is coming out on St. Patrick's Day, so I hope everyone has a happy St. Patrick's Day to those of you who celebrate. And yeah, let me know, have you ever made a 6-day star blanket before? I'm very curious. Like I said, it is really popular on TikTok, so that's how I heard about it, and I definitely get the hype, for sure. It's a beautiful blanket, so... But with all of that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys have a great week. And I hope to see you back here Friday with another video.